everybody, this is Felicia. Welcome to my channel today. I am going to be going over some of my issues that I've been having lately, I should say. I have been collecting my Allie Edwards story kits since she started. So I have every last one of them since the beginning. I don't know how many of you out there have the same thing, but I do, unfortunately. I was scrapping them like crazy. I was always getting them scrapped until one day I just stopped. And one of the reasons why I did stop is because I had lost interest, and then school, and then a bunch of other life happenings started. But what I want to do is I want to get back into what I was doing, which is pretty much at least trying to crack open one of the story kits, the Allie Edwards story kits. At least try to crack open crack it open, the same kit, at least once or twice a month, like I was doing before. I was actually cracking it open once a week, and I did some videos on it. A lot of people didn't seem interested in it because it was still kind of new, and everybody was like, no. Now a lot of people have jumped on board. I wouldn't say everybody, but a lot of people have jumped on board over the Allie Edwards story kits, but I have been doing it for a long time. So now I'm going to go back. So I'll kind of go over what I did. So I have this binder here. This is a 8.5 by 11, storage binder and everything. And what I was doing was whenever I did use one of her story kits, I would do it on an 8.5 by 11, 8 by 11, I think it is 8.5. Anyway, 8.5 by 11 sheet, and I would do the scrapbooking on these, and then I would put them in this binder. Now these are the story kits from the beginning, and it says it, hello beginning. And so this is pretty much all the stuff that you see here, except for the papers, of course, but are from the very first Allie Edwards story kit. And then of course you could see here that I have, I started and kind of was, and I would say, boy, am I glad I joined the Allie Edwards story stamp subscription. The stories that I am going to be telling are stories that have been kept inside for a long time, and now they are going to be cut loose. Smile. So I wrote that to myself, and I kind of looked at this and I'm going, wow, I should have just kept this up. This was written in January 1st of 2015. The very first Allie Edwards kit was in 2014. And I decided I would just, would do this. And so, as you can see, I've done some different things. This is one of the kits that she had started. And this is the first. That was the first one. And I did 2 layouts for that. I did this. And I did this, actually 3 layouts, and I also did a little bit of a, whatchamacallit, on my, when I was starting to do some studying in school, my first marathon. I mean, I did a lot of things. My first time modeling. We don't want to show those pictures. And I wrote a lot. You can see the story. I had a lot to say when I was doing this. And I had a lot to say here. I had a lot to say on this side. I don't know what happened. I honestly can't really tell you, but I'm definitely seeing that I need to get back into this, because I was actually literally telling large and long stories, because that's what I got into the kit for. So as you can see here, I did this one, my first grandson, my first grandchild. And so I even documented and wrote about that, and I have 3 different sections that I even documented and wrote about that. And then best ever, my first time going to, with all of us being together as a family, going to a graduation. I even wrote that, and this is like a hidden document, it was in here. I have a video on this. I'll try to link that. But I have a video on this, and it's an interactive one. I did a lot when I started these Allie Edwards story kits. I mean, she has unique embellishments, and she really, basically, you tell the story. I'm looking at this one, I even did stitching. I mean, really, honestly. And then I did another one with a lot of stories. How we roll on one of the story kits, the very first. These are like the first few story kits, and I did a family portrait here. I did some embossing. I mean, I took one of her stamps and did some embossing. I got away from doing this. I'm not sure why. I mean, I'm still trying to figure that out, because here we got another one here, and I told a nice long story here, and this is all typed because it was so much to write that I had to type it. I wrote a story about our family photo on my son's his 18th birthday. I mean, I've done a lot. It's just, you know, and I've gotten to, and this one here, I didn't do a lot of storytelling on this one, but this one was one of my favorites. I mean, I did little stitching here, you know, just little cross stitches like here and here on the embellishments and things like that. Here's another one. I mean, I'm going through some of these. I mean, and I even did this. It's been 6 years since I got my first digital camera. I even wrote my story on getting my my very first business cards for my photography, because I was doing that. I wrote more stories, you know, some of the stories currently. I mean, I used a lot, and this wasn't in one of the Allie Edwards kit, but this is a die from Allie Edwards. This right here, it says currently. And I used that to cut this out. And then here's the giant, you know, if you've seen this before, I've had it right here, but the giant acrylic words that come into those kits. I mean, I was amazed. And then, of course, you know, the story stamps comes with printouts. And you can see here where I was actually doing, you know, doing my sketches for some of this stuff. And I just stopped. I don't know, and I'm still trying to figure out why I stopped, but it's okay, because I'm going to get back into it. So, with that said, I just thought I'd share that a little bit. So, here is how I organized my Allie Edwards kits. The stuff that I was getting. And now I'm still doing Allie Edwards kits, but I'm also collecting. Oh my gosh, I'm collecting too much of them, and I need to get it started. I need to start this again. I need to use up what I have here. I'm still going to be getting her story kits because I really love them. I mean, I've never been so dedicated to something that I really love in my life. And so this is how I organize them. Each one, as you can see here, each one of these are the word that she uses for that kit. And they're all organized. These are my 3x4 cards. That's not all I got. I have more, of course. So these are all how I organize them. And someone commented and said something that wasn't, that kind of bugged me a little bit, but I ignored them because they don't know what's going on in my life. And I had showed this once before, and someone says, oh, I don't accumulate them. I use them as I get them. Well, that's great. I'm happy for you. I'm glad you do that. But there's things that go on in other people's lives. You can't compare your life to someone else's. And that's where we have got to work together as people, is we need to work together and encourage each other, not try to shame or downplay what someone else is doing. You know, it's not fair and it's not right. So, you know, when she said that, that was a while ago. It was over a year ago when this person said that to me. And, you know, of course, I ignored it. I really don't like a lot of conflict on social media because it's not necessary. So, but I'm just here to say, you know, yes, these are all of the stories here for stories of the month. I had started getting her stories of the month, but then I had to stop because I wasn't using them. But I still get her story stamp kit. These are all the 4x6s. As you can see, they're all labeled. I got them labeled with the intention of me getting to this and doing this. And I am going to do that. I'm going to do it, you know, but I'm going to do it at my pace. I'm going to do it when I have the time, when I have the free time. And I'm not going to let someone shame me for not using up my Allie Edwards kits. I'm not going to do that. That is just ridiculous. So, you know, I can't let that bother me. At the time it did, but I really thought about it, and, you know, I should not have let it bother me, but it's okay. You know, I'm not you know, that type of person that's going to be like, oh my God, I don't want to talk to her anymore, or I don't want to talk to this person anymore. I'm not going to do that. But these are the chipboards, and each one of the kits come with a chipboard set. And I've labeled, even went down to the point of labeling the chipboards. And I took the time out to do this. I think it was earlier, let's see, was it last year? Yeah, it was last year sometime. And I haven't touched them since. But I'm going to start doing them. So like I said, these are all of the embellishments that come from her kits. All of this is embellishments. And I've organized them. So I'm going to do this. I'm going to get this done, so as you can see. And hopefully, you know, now that everybody knows about the Allie Edwards story kits, and a lot of people are getting them, a lot of people love them, maybe someone would be interested in hearing stories, you know, you never know. But I'm going to I'm going to do my best. I'm not going to promise anything because things, you know, especially since the pandemic and, you know, and all that stuff, and no motivation has really been hitting me, and I've been like, oh, I don't want to do this. But I'm going to do that. So I hope that I'm able to do this. And the reason why I bought this out is because hopefully this will hold me accountable. You know, me accountable for getting this all done. That's what I'm hoping. I hope you guys are able to join me. I would love for you to join me because I love to tell stories. It's for those of you who's been on my channel, who've been subscribed to my channel, and in the past who've heard my stories. I love to tell stories, and my stories are always something funny happening or something adventurous happening in my stories. But I'm going to do that. So I hope you guys are able to join me, and hopefully you can get me motivated. Give me some suggestions on what to tell stories for. I mean, I can put up, like, you know, I'm going to try something new. I'm going to try something different. I'm just going to put it out there, and then hopefully I'll be able to get some great ideas from you guys, because I would love to hear your comments. I would love to hear what you would tell your stories on. You know, I have so many things with words, details, old and new. And if any of you guys get Allie Edwards story kits, please, by all means, share. I would love to hear how you use them. I would love to hear what you do with them. I mean, I'm just like that. I'd like to get ideas from everybody. And I'd love to hear your stories too. So I'm just that type of person. I'm a story person. Anyway, guys, I want to thank you so much for joining me for this short little session. And I will see you in my next video. Take care, guys. Bye. Hi, everybody. This is Felicia, and I am going to go ahead and get started. I pulled all of my stuff out that I think I'm going to be using. I pre-cut some strips over here and this side. And I am going to be trying to, you know, figure out how I'm going to do this. I did my journaling, and I'm trying to figure out how I want to put my journaling. So far, how this picture is situated on the 8.5 by 11 is this might be exactly where it's going to go. And then I might be putting my journaling on the side here. So I'm not quite sure exactly what I'm going to do with this just yet. So, but if you continue to watch, and I will show you, this is one of my Allie Edwards story kits, and this one is called Kindness. And I thought I'd journal a lot, pretty much tell a story about how I feel about this campus right here, which is my Sacramento State campus. I went on it the other day, and it was pretty sad because it was my first time, this spring semester was my first time actually being on campus, and it was cut short due to the pandemic and things like that. The campus is beautiful, by the way. It's full of lots and lots of trees, and I wanted to take a picture of it because I did go to campus yesterday. But I didn't go to campus just to take pictures. I went to campus to get some information. You know, of course, you have to wear your mask when you're on campus and stuff like that. So, but yeah, I'm going to kind of document about how I feel about this, how I feel about the, you know, not being able to go to, you know, on campus this coming fall. It is kind of, you know, well, anyway, I'm going to go ahead and get started. So I hope that did not sound selfish, because I know, I understand there are people who are actually getting sick from the COVID and everything, and I really feel for them. All we can do pretty much is pray for them and make sure that they get through it safely without any other complications or anything like that. But I had to say that because I don't want to seem like I am selfish. I'm just a little bummed because this was my first time, and I just felt it was my first time on a campus as a student. Um, I sacrificed my life and my career, and a lot of people don't know this, for my for my children to go to school, and I helped them through their school and their educations and things like that. Plus, I had a broken toe the very first week of school. And so I was walking along in a boot for the first, I would say, 2 to 3 weeks. Actually, it was 3 weeks of school. And when I finally did come out of the boot, I was super happy. And the next thing you know, it's like, okay, well, now that you're all here, it's time for you guys to go home and study at home. I had 6 classes for the first semester. And that was 16 units. One of them was a lab. And how do you do a lab online, you guys? Honestly. So, yes, I was pretty bummed out. Um, and I don't know if I told you, but I am an anthropology major, actually, anthroarchaeology major. And I just felt like this is really kind of, I don't understand why we just can't have class, at the time. But then I realized it, there are people who are literally were getting sick and were actually leaving this earth. Um, and that's one of the things that I had to come to a realization too, and I know there are people who have it, and I wasn't doing any comparison. I was just making sure that I understand what was going on and kind of get myself back into reality. I did manage to finish all 6 of my classes. I do have a nice GPA, even though I didn't think I was going to get one because things got really overwhelming a couple times there. But for the most part, that's the story. The story really goes into how everything was going good, and then we ended up being at home, and you know, the COVID changed everybody's lives and some of people's lives for good. I mean, it's just really been interesting. I never really even thought I would live in a time where this would actually happen. And but it did, and there was nothing really that anybody could do because it was out of our control. So that's why I was a little bummed, earlier this semester, spring, the beginning, and it was like I said, my first semester on campus. Now we get to do our second semester, which I am being prepared for. I'm getting prepared. It'll be online as well this fall, so it does save me gas. It does save me parking. It does save time. But to try to stay motivated into doing your work in school at home is a little different than actually being in a classroom setting. So, with that said, that is one of the biggest reasons why I was feeling a little bummed out. And I know there are people who are, and just a little bit on that. So, I'm going to get to the layout here. And as you can see, I did decide to put that word kindness at the top, and there's my journaling on the side there. I'm glad I decided to go ahead and do that because I needed to do something different with the journaling. Now that is a felt heart that is also in the kit, and I'm going to use that felt heart, and I'm going to be using the pink one as well, and you'll see that later. There's some chipboard pieces here at the bottom that you can see that I decided I'm going to go ahead and, I'm going to put those at the bottom. And then there's one chipboard piece there I'm going to put directly under the photo. Now, as far as that arrow that says kindness, I'm not sure if I'm even going to use that, but it's just sitting there, and it's going to be sitting there for a little while until I figure out that I don't like it there. So I end up eventually, you'll see what happens to it, not using it. So my journaling did come out kind of like I wanted it to. I knew it wasn't going to be straight and perfect. I wanted something that wasn't so straight and perfect and give it a little character, the layout. I'm not aiming for perfection here. I'm just aiming to get this story out of my head and onto this paper because this is going in my 8.5 by 11 album that I keep. Sorry about that noise you hear in the background, but I am doing my voiceover in the office, which I have straightened up. That's a different story. So that is something that I tried to make sure that I just just provide a little different variety here. And I don't want to do the same thing over and over and over.
And as you can see, it looks perfectly fine. I mean, I like the way it is. You know, I like the way it fits on there. And then I finish off the bottom part here, as you can see, with some more of the strips that I cut. And I am still trying to fool around with that arrow, which I figure out that is not going to work. I finally figured out, like, we got to get this thing off of here. But one of the things I can honestly say about the Ali Edwards kids is that it's worded. I get the stamp as well, the story stamp. So I got every last one of the story stamps that went with every last one of the kits. I was getting them both at the same time because I said to myself, you know, you might as well go ahead and just get them all at the same time, you know, because it doesn't make sense to just get one or the other. And so I also, you know, do her story stamps kits and stamp sets come with classes, and she does videos for each and every one of these, and she's been doing it since the beginning. And her videos give you, it's packed full of ideas. It's packed full of suggestions, ideas, and her layouts that she does, which are always so clean. I just love it. So the last step here, as you can see, is I'm putting down the word kindness. I do decide to do a sprinkling of some mist, some Heidi Swapp mist in black, because I wanted to give it a little bit of a contrast there. And so that is it. So I am pretty much done with this layout, and it feels good to have gotten one of these done, and I'm glad I did. So I want to thank you guys so much for watching, and be sure to stay tuned. I'm going to try to get some of these out as fast as I can. Take care, guys. Thanks for watching. Have a great and wonderful week. Bye-bye.